It's finally done. The best Leap segment I've ever made. This is a perfect intro. I mean, I would go so far as to say it might be the perfect video mankind has ever created. It has everything. It has heart, soul, and the most powerful message of any video I've made yet. I mean, it even has cinematography even Max would enjoy. This is the most perfect video I've ever made. Now all I have to do is export it. Hundreds of hours of work. Gone in a misclick. Well, the only option I have now is to make some amateurish skit video about how I failed my one job in the Leap. I mean, what sort of idiot would do that? You're watching The Leap.
I recall yet that President Kennedy had to go for days on end with very little sleep during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Is there any doubt in your mind that you would be able to function in such circumstances?
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, man so tough, but mans keep walking. Just too sharp with the prize.
And all of a sudden, who stands up but Julius Caesar? Very much the Chancellor Palpatine of this part of history. Only 37 years old, hasn't turned to the dark side yet, but he gets up and he says, "Don't kill these dudes." He says it in Latin, so non occides these dudes. And he delivers.
What the? If you're a freshman or a transfer, hello, I'm Max from the Leap. I request you don't address me as such, but I am cursed for another 2 years to have such a title. We've been in isolation for 7 months now, and well, I've been in isolation for 7 months now because every time I check my phone, you guys are hanging out with friends at parties. Now, I'm not against this at all. As someone who's, been in isolation for 7 months, I know how incredibly important it is to interact with people outside your immediate family. That is, if we take precautions to fight the spread of COVID-19, which we are most certainly not doing. Let's go over some mask facts. When you cough, the particles from your respiratory system kind of shoot out like that, like directly forward really fast. When you cough in your hand, while it adds a small barricade, it doesn't really stop those particles from traveling. Coughing in your elbow is an interesting thing because they kind of like shoot up and down like this, but don't really go forward. However, when wearing a mask, these respiratory particles kind of puff out and stay right in front of you and just kind of stop, you know? This is why when wearing one, you'll find it immensely difficult to blow out a match. And also why they're incredibly important to wear so as not to spread COVID-19.
Its scientific simplicity is saving lives. But while wearing a mask does a great job blocking your respiratory particles from traveling, they don't really stop the ones coming at you. If I throw flour on my face, the results speak for themselves. This is why it isn't just important for non-infected people to wear masks, but for everyone to wear masks. So when you leave your house, you have to assume that both you and every single person you see has COVID. Which sounds silly at first, but if everyone has the common mindset of that and are taking the correct precautions, then the virus basically just stops in its tracks. Which should have happened a long time ago, honestly. Now you might be saying, Max, I don't have corona, I have no symptoms, or even I got a negative test. To that I say, 25% of all infected persons are asymptomatic, so you might not even know that you have it, and suddenly, you've now put everyone around you in danger of dying. And there are also plenty of false negative tests out there in the US, so it's not a great idea to hedge your bets on that one. Now, of course, different types of masks vary in quality. One of your better options is to wear those surgical ones, but for the sake of thoroughness, let's check out some of your other choices. If you drape your shirt or a thin piece of cloth around your face, then it won't be effective at all. Again, matches. But consulting the internet with different ways to easily make well-fortified masks, or even just buying some cute ones online, are the options us gamers are taking. Because if you're gonna stop the spread of a global pandemic, then you might as well look hot doing it. Just make sure you throw them in the washer after using them so as they're disinfected between uses. So please feel free to make these masks yours, because until the last person on Earth gets a hold of a vaccine, we're gonna be wearing them for a while. So just to be clear, you put them on like this, you take them off like that, and you don't wear them like this, or this, but like that. Personally, I wear one every time I leave the house because it sends a message to all the forgetful fish out there that this is the new normal, where we don't just look out for ourselves, but the people around us.
And in that, by wearing a mask, you're not showing that you want to protect yourself, but that you want to protect others. You're in it for the long haul, and you're willing to help as many randos as possible. Yet, by not wearing a mask, you're showing that the only life you care about is yours, which is an incredibly apathetic way of thinking, and one that really circles back to my point. East High students may post or share pictures of ways to help, or like messages of pleas for empathy, but if you can't even do the simple task of wearing a mask, then you're not really willing to act on those pleas or ways to help. And aside from your social media presence, do you even really exist? Right now, we're at 200,000 deaths from COVID-19 in the US. We have not beaten it, and Salt Lake City is still in the orange as far as activity goes. Yet people are still attending homecomings and parties as if nothing is wrong and their actions have no consequences, which they absolutely do. Again, 7 months in isolation without being in a physical space is hard. It's agony, really. This has been one of the hardest times of my life. Every day I wake up and I hope I don't get the news that my dad or my grandparents got the Rona because 2 teenagers weren't distancing themselves. Which is a really weird thing to come to grips with, and after half a year, I still haven't. But I and many others don't need to if we just bite the bullet on this one and do one simple thing. Wear a mask. It's the easiest thing in the world. Now, this video has been, pretty negative so far, but I don't want it to sound nihilistic. I want it to be hopeful, which is why I'm excited to announce my new series, The Scoop, with me, Max. The show where I try to rid the hallways, the virtual ones anyway, of their apathetic nature and actually give my peers power over their lives. But not with likes, or comments, or tweets, or trends, or challenges, or whatever, but with perspective, empathy, stories, because some of y'all really need to see what it's like to be in someone else's shoes.
This year is pretty crazy. We all know that. But at least we have ways to calm ourselves down, like calling friends, playing Minecraft, and watching movies, TV shows, and the East High Theater productions that you'll be able to download and watch beginning the afternoon of the 22nd, going through midnight of the 26th. As a special treat, on the 24th at 7:30 p.m., there will be a drive-in movie showing of the plays in the faculty parking lot. For this driving-in showing of the plays, you will be able to watch from within your cars and use your car's radio to hear the plays, so you don't have to leave. Make sure to bring a mask if you plan on getting out of your car, though, because it's required for your and everyone else's safety. There are 2 different plays. One of them is a comedy called Do You Read Me, about average people trying to grow the first eggplant on Mars. The second play is a dramedy called 4 a.m. It's about a group of teenagers that are separated and struggling with their own things. This is a more serious play and has some more intense stories that take place in the same hour. Make sure to watch them. It'll be really fun. Remember, you'll be able to download them to watch on easthightheater.org from the afternoon of the 22nd to midnight of the 26th, and you'll be able to watch them in your cars on the 24th at 7:30 p.m.